What's up, my subs, and welcome back. As promised, I'm going to be covering the new Midway film. And like the original, it centers on a clash between the American fleet and the Imperial Japanese Navy on the Battle of Midway. Let's get into the positive, folks. First and foremost, the story. It hadn't really lost its edge. It follows the same pattern, same historical events, from what I can tell. I will be getting into some things that kind of improved over the original here in a little bit. But it was very moving. It was very powerful. Like I said in my 1976 review for this film, this is just a piece of history that we should never forget about. It's one of those that just falls down in the American history books and should stay there. Indefinite. And should never be taken lightly. And the story in this film, it was done pretty well. I'm going to mention a little bit of what kind of improved the story and the film over the original. For those of you who are fans of the original more, I apologize. I mean no disrespect, but the pacing. There wasn't no dumb subplots about this American flyer engaged to this woman and him asking his father for help for her family. This film did it justice by not having any of that mess. I didn't care about any of that in the original. It slowed it down for me. It didn't do anything for the original story, and I don't know about you guys, but I just didn't feel like it was necessary. In this film, they didn't do any of that. It got straight to the point. So much so that they acted a little more action. As with most films that are filmed nowadays, they do add lots more action to movies like this, usually. Not all the time. But I felt like that's what they did with this film. And the action was pretty crazy. Like I said, it did have more action in this than in the original. There's a terrific score by Thomas Wander and Harold Klauser, who's worked on various films with director Roland Emmerich, who was the director of this film. It was very deep, very emotional. And speaking of Roland Emmerich, the director, the direction was pretty good. This man knows how to do disaster movies. He's done countless of disaster movies over the years. The Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day, Godzilla, 2012. The man has a pretty good track record when it comes to film, just about. White House Down excluded. It was a great cast. You got Ed Skrein or Skrein. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly. Patrick Wilson, Luke Evans. Even got Woody Harrelson. And we just saw him in Zombieland 2. Aaron Eckhart, Dennis Quaid, and so many others. I was shocked to see how many of these A-list actors, if you want to call them that, show up in this. I've seen so many of their films. I was shocked to see this many people show up in this film. They all did excellent jobs, great performances. And let's slide into my mixed. One thing I do miss about the original is the practical effects. As I said, that's what made movies back in those days really special. And the special effects in this film wasn't terrible, but there were certain scenes where it just felt a little cheesy. There's a scene where the characters are looking at sunken ships and smoky areas, and in a way, the way they made it look, it kind of looked like a painting. From afar, because they were looking at everything from afar. And I don't know if they were meaning to make this in 3D. I wasn't aware of this film ever actually being in 3D, but that's kind of what it looked like. But without the 3D glasses, it's like one of those situations where you watch a 3D movie, but without the 3D glasses, it looks cheesy. And that's kind of how it looked to me. But don't get me wrong, it didn't pull me out of the film completely. I still loved the special effects and most of what they gave into this film. But you do too much CGI, it's going to look fake every now and then. And that's kind of, unfortunately, what happened in this. But again, I didn't hate it. And last but not least, let's move into the negatives. One thing I couldn't understand why the filmmakers chose to go this route, I'll never know. But they tried to sympathize the Japanese enemy. Why would I want to feel sorry for anybody who wants to kill me? That's like me walking up to Hitler, putting my arm around him and saying, "It's okay, buddy. I'm so sorry you're such a mean, rotten, genocidal maniac." Seriously? But my final thoughts, I thought this was a great war film, especially for a reboot. I did feel like that it was a little tad better than the original. It gave it a higher standard in terms of pace and in terms of tone. And especially since they left out that old dumb subplot that the original one just had to throw out there for some odd reason. I felt like this one did a little more justice. even though the negative I just mentioned. So that being in mind, I'm giving the film a B+. So, Midway, have you seen it yet? What did you think of it? Leave me your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. For those of you who did, and for those of you who are just tuning in, who just finished watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon for future posts so you don't miss a thing. Stay tuned for more videos and reviews coming soon to a computer screen or cell phone near you. Peace the rep out.